make some noise.
Make some noise for me one time.
Put your hands up.
It's about to go down.
You're now listening to the 0 to 100 show, the source for all you go-getters.
Are you ready?
It's time to level up with your hosts, Tony and Sharlene Chance.
So, shall we begin?
Let's go.
Oi, 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 oi. You're locked into the 0 to 100 show where we put it down so we can all come up.
I'm Sharlene Chance.
Yep, and I'm Tony Chance.
And we are your hosts.
Yep.
So Tony and I, we are a black married couple from South London, Croydon to be specific. And we're also business partners, entrepreneurs and business partners. We wanted to do this episode today as kind of a little intro into who we are, what this podcast is, what it's all about, and kind of why we think we can add some value, like kind of give you a reason to listen to us. So the 0 to 100 show is kind of exactly what it says on the tin. It's all about kind of how you go from 0 to 100. So our kind of premise is to share the accelerated tactics we've used to do exactly that, like to go from just having ideas in our head to actually executing on those, developing a business that pays us an income, that kind of thing. And kind of sharing our struggle to success story as well, because that is kind of the nature of the game. When you decide you want to take your life to another level, it ain't really smooth sailing, you know. There are struggles, but then if you keep going, you keep persisting, you apply some of the tactics that we're going to talk about and that we're going to bring other people on to talk about, you end up at 100. So that's kind of what the show is going to be all about.
Yeah. We just want to do whatever we can to kind of help share this knowledge that's out there. And that's so useful to actually taking yourself to the next level. Like what we learned in our own experiences is that when you're starting out, you don't know things and you end up having to go through so much pain and failures and struggles when actually everything you're doing is probably been done by someone already. So it's like if people who've already been through that experience, you can shortcut, fast track yourself to the next level by learning from hopefully ourselves or someone that we bring on the show to kind of give you that juice, that source to kind of take your game to the next level. Yeah,
it's basically the information we wish we had when we started out. So why we're doing the show. So specifically, we kind of consider this a show to be for people who don't come from, you know, like backing in privilege, we say. So like Tony and I, we are both from South London, Croydon. We are both black. We weren't born into wealth or like any specific privilege. And I think when that's your background, there is a different kind of set of rules. The pathway to success and to achieving your goals isn't necessarily as easy. Even in if it's career or business, you know, there are different obstacles. And so we think kind of the tactics we're going to share are specific to people who come from, like, who are fighting the odds. Like, your path isn't set, it isn't straight. There's going to be there's challenges for everyone, but like specific set of challenges. So that's kind of who this is for. And like why that was important to us is because our community is important to us. Like, you know, as a community, we struggle. Like the community does have its challenges, like historically and today there are things that are different for us and it can be difficult. And when you're a kid in that, like there isn't always this wealth of information or money to kind of help you go from 0 to 100. And like seeing a change, a shift in our community and being part of that is kind of part of what getting woke was for me and Tony. So like when we just kind of realized like how frustrating that whole scenario was for us, we were like, well, what can we do? Like, what is the small part we can play in making some sort of shift? And this is it. Like, this is the information we have. This is the struggle that we've learned from. And we want to share it with others so that people can kind of come up maybe or add some sort of value to their life in the way that we've been able to. Like today, I think, you know, we experience a life. We do have financial independence. So our business pays completely for our lifestyle without us having to work for it. And that's something we've been able to achieve. And I think it's something that could add a lot of value to a lot of people in our community's life. Like whether you want to big money or you just want to have a side hustle or whatever, some of the stuff we know and been through can like help with that stuff.
Yeah, like we're big believers in modeling. And unfortunately, there's not that many people when I was growing up who I could model, who kind of looked like me, who were from where I'm from, that kind of made it have that connection to make it believable. So I'm hoping that I can be that for someone else, or the people that we bring that onto the show can be that for someone, where you find that common connection that makes it believable. Oh, right, he came from my ends, or he's going through what I went through, or he looks just like me. So there's actually no excuses for me to be procrastinating and not making this happen. So hopefully we can bring that to the table and just make things more believable, more actionable, more executable by basically seeing people just like yourself, hearing from them and making things happen.
Exactly. And like, this is not a business to us. So the podcast is not our business. Kind of every penny we put into getting this started is out of our own pocket. No one pays us to do this. Like, it's purely out of love. So, you know, bear with us as we're getting used to being podcasters. Like, the juice is there, but we're not always, you know, we're not polished podcasters yet, but bear with us. It's coming from a place of love. Like, we genuinely want to like help where we can. So that's what the podcast is. That's why we're doing it. But like, why do we think we can add some value? So as I said earlier, like, we've been through a lot. Like, Tony and I kind of quit our jobs, 5 years ago now?
Yeah.
2012, 2013. We both come from corporate backgrounds.
Yeah.
Tony was...
Yeah, I was an accountant, working in the city for about 12 years. Sharlene worked in law. And we had the classic 9-to-5 jobs, doing okay, doing all right amongst our peers, I guess. But kind of like in our mid-20s, we was like, mid to late 20s, were like not really feeling this. Do you know what I mean? I'm not feeling these glass ceilings that sometimes are looming, not feeling this lack of not reaching my full potential, not feeling just not being able to do everything I believe I'm capable of doing. So we made the tough decision, you know, the classic story that you hear of like quitting our jobs to go out into business on ourselves. And so that was 5 years ago. Since then, we've run numerous businesses. Our first business was in food, but then we went on to do tech, retail, e-commerce, all sorts of things. We've had a number of, you know, really good successes, but we've had failures along the way, a whole heap of failures. But successes as well. So like, you know, me and Tony were very driven. Like, we were hungry. Like, coming out the gate, especially 5 years ago, like, we were so hungry. We were unrefined, but that hunger did get us, you know, certain places. So with our food business, we opened up several locations. We were providing jobs. Like, we were employed, 10 plus people. You know, we were able to live off of that for a while. We had a tech business that had the opportunity to go out to San Francisco, where we were like making deals with universities for that business, you know, talking to investors. The retail business did really well. I always think if we had stuck at that, we could have exited by now. But anyway, but yeah, like Tony said, that kind of hunger and determination only got us so far. Yeah. So although we was hungry, although we was determined, we was inexperienced. Yeah, we was fresh in the game, and there's a lot of things that you only learn through experience. Do you know what I mean? Or you learn through experience. So we didn't have that experience, and if you don't know, you make mistakes. Exactly. And like, I think again, like relating this back to our community and our background specifically, like, we didn't have the bare entrepreneurs in our family who could say, no, this is how you do it, this is how you present to investors, or here's the 20 grand to start the business, or etc. This is what you should be focusing on. So we literally have had to learn it the hard way. And that's resulted in failures, isn't it? Like, some hard times, man. It's hard to even talk about them sometimes. It's tough because like, we put everything into our business, and therefore when you put everything on the line, which we did, because that's the type of people that we were, obviously when it goes wrong, you lose everything. So we've went through some hard times. We've basically been the brokest people, you know, like literally. I would say 2 years ago, as little as 2 years ago, like amongst our own network, we were definitely the brokest people we know. Like, oh man, like we have been practically homeless, realistically. You know, we've had to downgrade our flat from like a nice 2-bedroom fancy flat in Purley to sleeping on a mattress on the floor of a rented room that like wasn't comfortable, in like sharing a bathroom and stuff. Like, we've done the whole noodle life. Like, that's a minor to us, the noodle life. We've done that. I've had a car repossessed. You know, we've had the debt collectors running us down. Like, we've been, in terms of money, we have been as broke as you can go. But also, I think we've had that point where our spirit has been crushed. Yeah, because when you're failing and no one doesn't understand failure around you, they lose belief in you.
Yeah,
they
so we stopped having cheerleaders.
Yeah, and it kind of it dampens your own spirit. Do you know what I mean? And you start kind of like questioning yourself, and you go through a hard time because it's a very lonely place. You know what I mean? Because most people aren't generally taking that journey. Well, most people that I knew weren't taking that journey, so I couldn't go and link up with people and discuss it and be like, yeah, no, that's cool, that's part of the process. You know what I mean? But so it was tough. It's a tough time, but fortunately, me and Sharlene are, motivated, determined, and wouldn't allow those hard times to keep us down.
No.
And in those darkest moments, we had our moment where we was like, enough's enough. We're gonna learn from all of these failures and find the lessons and the learnings in these to basically execute better going forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so during these hard times, we continue to study, we continue to kind of plod along, observe the people that are being successful. And the more you listen to successful people,
I would say we must have spent thousands, and no joke, thousands of hours studying people. Like, think about it. We've had 5 years of ups and downs where we never gave up. That meant we were continually learning. Like, every time something went wrong, we would go and find and observe and model someone who did it better. Like, we have been so aggressive. I even sound aggressive. Like, we've been so aggressive in our learning. 5 years and thousands of hours of like learning from people who know way better than us. And that has allowed us to today, when did we start this business?
About 12 months ago.
About 12 months ago, we started a new business. By now, also, we've learned our strengths and weaknesses, which is really key as well. Like, we've learned our strengths and weaknesses, and we started a business we could fully execute on. And we were homeless at the point that we started that business. We took our last £70 to invest in the business, which is now called Always Traveling. And within 12 months, we had turned that business into a 6-figure business. And today we are financially independent, which means we live completely off the profits of our own business, i.e. we can pay ourselves a salary that completely pays for our cost of living. And actually, we don't have to work. So whether me and Tony get up or not, like, our bases are covered. Like, our salary will pay us whether or not we actually work. We still got goals, so we work because we want to be financially free. So like, we want to live an even bigger lifestyle. But that is something we've been able to achieve: a completely passive income, a business that pays for our life, and freedom of time. So like, right now we're traveling around the world. We've been away since end of December, and we're not coming back till September. We've been to Southeast Asia, South America. We're currently in Peru, going into Brazil next, and the Amazon rainforest and all this. But the point is, like, we've been able to achieve and create, after the struggle, from struggle to success, a passive income, a business that's doing very well, and freedom of time. And those are things that, a lot of people do desire, but a lot of people don't know how to get, and particularly from our community. So like, by sharing our struggle to success story, we hope that people can create, either a passive income, a side hustle, like something in their life that makes it a little bit better and a little bit easier.
Because that's the thing, like, you don't have to go through the hardship yourself. Like, there's so much information out there that everything that you're considering to do or you are currently doing, someone's done it already in some shape or form. So you can accelerate your learning by just modeling what they've done. And we're hoping that we can help share, so you can model what we've done successfully, so that you can shortcut and not have to go through the pain that we went through, and also bring people on the show who can share their struggle to success stories, so you can learn and model from them. Because that you can learn from your own experiences, or you can learn from someone else's. Do you know what I mean? But it's
your own just takes longer.
Yeah, so
that's not to say you're not gonna have to work things out for yourself, but like, it don't have to take people 5 years. Like, look at that. It took us with 5 years to get here, but really what we have today took us 12 months. So what about the 4 years before? That was just the learning. So, hopefully some people can cut out them 4 years and, get straight into the 12-month plan or the 2-year plan by kind of shortcutting with some of the knowledge we have and some of the people we'll bring on have as well. So that's kind of, I hope that adds some value in itself, just knowing that there are 2 people from the ends who, didn't come from all of this privilege, probably have similar circumstances to you. And we've achieved something that, 5% of people achieve. And this is the kind of thing that they tell us can't be achieved. That they tell us we'll just be on the ends our whole lives and, you know, we just have to have these standard jobs and we get a mortgage and we pay that until we retire. And that doesn't have to be the case. You know, if you've got different goals, bigger goals, whether it's money related, whether it's just being at the top of your game, whatever it is, you know, these goals can be achieved. Sounds like a motivational speech now.
It is, go for
like,
it.
I genuinely believe like any goal can be achieved. It's just about the tactics you apply, the attitude you have. And this is it. This is the premise of this podcast. I believe we can like change our own lives and we can help other people change their lives. So
so like in our season 1, we're going to be covering how to initially get in the game. I just want to address like early on that some of you might be thinking that I want the juice, man. How are you guys doing this thing? Or how's these other people doing this thing? And it's like,
relax.
This is like, we're giving you the foundation, man, as in like the fundamentals, not foundations like basics, but it's basics, the fundamentals, the core things that even if you went and got this bad boy business plan or this big investment in the business, without these fundamentals, it can go pear-shaped.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So,
and like that's the reason why it took us 4 years. Me and Tony have had sick ideas that we've then seen people go and execute on. You know what I mean? We've had ideas 4 years ago that today someone's making millions of, but we weren't the people to execute them. So I think like, episode 1, we're not going to tell you how we make 6 figures. Like there's no point. Because we've told people how to do this and they haven't then gone and executed because they're not the kind of people that haven't worked on themselves or developed all the other things that make you the kind of person who can have a passive income, who can manage their money and make investments and da-da-da-da-da. There's like so much more to it than literally this is the A to B of how to do it. But, so it is like, it's a process. This podcast is a process, especially season 1 is all about how to be the kind of person who can get in the game. The strategies and the tactics to develop the mindset, the, what do you call it? Like the strategies, the type of things you have to do to be a person who could create a 6-figure passive income. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully that makes sense. But like, bear with it is what we're saying.
We're going to get to it though. Yeah,
of course we're going to get to it.
I'm gonna basically.
No one ain't trying to keep no secrets.
We just want to share everything. like anyone who knows me, like if you hot out at me and you ask me how you doing this, how you doing that, there's no holding back. I'll tell you. If you're prepared to listen and you want to hear, then we'll tell you that. And that's exactly where we're going to go with the podcast. This is like giving us an opportunity to have more reach than just my WhatsApp groups. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully we're open books. You can holler at us on Instagram and stuff like that. You got your questions, whatever. We just want to share, get the knowledge out in the community, reduce the excuses, the procrastination, anything stopping us from leveling up our lives and our game. We're going to make it happen, man. We're all going to make it happen and we're all going to come up. So look into subscribe, like, and just stay tuned, man. Share with people who are about that life. Share with people that are getting hungry, want things to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's get this information circulated around and let's do this thing.
Yep. Holla.
Cool. So, thanks for listening. And, man, go and tuck into the episodes. Get into it. Let's go. Laters! Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. Follow our Instagram at 02100show and our website 02100show.com for more info and a look behind the scenes. If you like what you heard today, please like, subscribe, and leave us a review. And if you've got any questions, drop us a message or leave a comment. Laters.